NVIDIA NVDA Beginner's Guide. Hey, welcome back to Investing ABC, the show where we break down famous companies in plain English. Today we're talking about NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVIDIA, the company that makes the artificial intelligence boom physically possible. When ChatGPT writes you a poem, where does that thinking actually happen? It happens on a chip, and roughly 90% of the time, that chip was designed by NVIDIA. As always, this is educational, not investment advice. So, what does NVIDIA actually do? NVIDIA sells GPUs, graphics processing units, computer chips that are incredibly good at doing thousands of math problems at the same time, in parallel. They were originally built for video games, but it turned out that same skill is exactly what artificial intelligence needs to learn from huge piles of data. That accident is the entire story. NVIDIA's biggest business by far is data center, which sells top-end chips like Blackwell and the upcoming Rubin to customers like Microsoft, Meta, and AI labs like OpenAI. Data center generated about $194 billion last fiscal year, roughly 72% of the whole company. Networking is the second piece at about $31 billion, because when you wire tens of thousands of AI chips together, the cables and switches matter as much as the chips. Then gaming at about $13 billion, plus a few smaller categories. Total revenue last fiscal year was about $268 billion, up 73%. One more thing, and this is the most important thing about NVIDIA. They also make the software that runs on their chips, called CUDA, which stands for Compute Unified Device Architecture. CUDA is the toolkit that lets developers tap into the massive parallel processing power of GPUs to do thousands of calculations at once, instead of one step at a time like a regular CPU, a central processing unit, the chip in your laptop. That parallel math is exactly what training an AI model needs, and CUDA is what makes it possible on NVIDIA hardware. So who does NVIDIA compete with, and how does it win? If NVIDIA's chips are so valuable, why don't competitors just build the same thing? Real competitors do exist. AMD with its MI300 chip, Intel with Gaudi, and custom chips that cloud companies build for themselves like Google's TPU and Amazon's Trainium. But NVIDIA still dominates because of what's called a moat, a competitive advantage that keeps competitors from catching up. NVIDIA's moat has three pieces. First is CUDA itself. There are over 1.5 million AI models written for CUDA today, and NVIDIA has been investing in it for 25 years. If a hyperscaler, industry speak for a giant cloud company like Microsoft Azure, wanted to switch to AMD chips, they'd have to rewrite enormous amounts of software. That's a switching cost, one of the strongest moats in business. Second is what NVIDIA calls full-stack co-design. NVIDIA designs the GPU, the CPU, the networking, and the software all together as one package. Nobody else does that under one roof. The result is the highest performance per watt of electricity in the industry, which matters because electricity is now one of the biggest costs of running AI. Third is pace. NVIDIA spends over $20 billion a year on R&D and ships a new generation every single year, Hopper, then Blackwell, then the upcoming Vera Rubin, which is supposed to deliver 35 times the AI throughput of Blackwell. Competitors are 1 to 2 generations behind on both silicon and software, chasing a moving target. What are the key drivers for the business over the past 5 years? How did NVIDIA go from a respected gaming chip company to the most important semiconductor company in the world? 3 forces. First is the AI training and inference explosion. Training is when an AI model learns from huge piles of data. Inference is when that trained model answers your question. The pivotal moment was ChatGPT launching in late 2022. After that, every company on Earth decided they needed an AI strategy, and they all needed NVIDIA chips. Data center revenue grew roughly 13 times bigger. NVIDIA CEO now says AI infrastructure spending could reach $3 to $4 trillion per year by the end of the decade. Second is platform co-design driving annual performance leaps that beat Moore's law, the historical pattern of chips doubling in speed every couple of years. The newest chip, GB300, delivers 2.7 times the throughput of the chip from 6 months earlier and cuts the cost of answering an AI question by 60%. That gives customers a real reason to upgrade every year, instead of holding chips for 5 or 6 years like they used to. Third is total addressable market expansion. TAM just means the size of the potential market. NVIDIA keeps unlocking new ones. Sovereign AI, countries building their own national AI infrastructure, now spans roughly 40 countries. And the brand new one, the Vera CPU project, launching later this year. Selling CPUs puts NVIDIA into competition with Intel and AMD on general-purpose computing, and that alone is a $200 billion market NVIDIA was not in a year ago. Management already has visibility to $20 billion of CPU revenue this year. Every couple of years, NVIDIA finds a new mountain to climb. To wrap up, so that is NVIDIA in plain English. The company designs the most important chips of the AI era and defends its position with a software platform called CUDA that customers find very hard to leave. The big business thing to watch from here is the Vera CPU launch later this year and the Rubin generation that follows. Those two products together decide how much of that $200 billion CPU market and how much of the multi-trillion-dollar AI infrastructure build-out NVIDIA captures. None of this is investment advice. Just a starting point for your own homework. Thanks for listening to Investing ABC.